From the Opubco Studios at Britain and Broadway, you're listening to a News OK podcast.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to a News OK Comics podcast. I'm Matt Price. I'm here with Kyle Roberts. With big news this week, Captain America, Steve Rogers. Yeah, the original.
He's coming back.
He's coming back.
Steve-O.
We're getting our first. You get our first hints of that in Captain America 600. And then let's just run down real quick everything else we're telling everybody about. What are we telling you about this week?
Okay, we got another Captain America comic, The Young Allies, with him and Bucky.
Yeah.
And then we got a Supergirl, which Sterling Gates, has been on for a while.
Right.
And Gambit.
XMen Origins Gambit. All right, so Captain America 600. Huge amount of hype this week as Marvel released this comic on a Monday, almost unheard of. Said be sure to get this. There's going to be big news revealed, and also the news broke that same day that they were officially bringing Steve back. Steve doesn't show up in this issue. He doesn't step out of the shower like Bobby Ewing and say, "What's up, people?"
Hey guys.
But Sharon Carter does discover there's some gaps in her memory that she's starting to remember that might indicate that there's some way they can still save Steve. So that is sort of the big plot movement. Then you also have sort of the anniversary issue stuff. You've got an Alex Ross origin, a 2-page origin. You've got a Golden Age reprint.
Other back issue type stuff.
Yeah. You've got Roger Stern doing a story of sort of some of the Captain America characters that were big in the 80s, his former girlfriend, Bernie Rosenthal. And you've got Mark Waid, who was a Cap writer in the 90s, doing a story about a Captain America collector auctioning off his memorabilia and what that means to the people who get it. So
Cap versus Red Skull.
Cap versus Red Skull in the 1940s backup. So really solid. It's almost 100 pages. It's $5.
Yeah.
And it's it's
$1 more than a regular comic in 100 pages. So.
Yeah. Again, so I enjoyed that one a lot.
Sweet.
And then if you want some more Captain America this week, the new Captain America stars in Young Allies special. This is Marvel celebrating their 70th anniversary this year. And, Bucky's a character that goes back almost all 70 of those years.
Right.
This talks about Bucky when he's become the new Captain America. It's a nice character piece, a nice look at the new Cap as a character, and a look at some of these characters from the 30s whose original adventures might come off as pretty silly. Roger Stern, who wrote this as well, kind of contextualizes it. The only thing I didn't enjoy as much about this one is I didn't think the reprint, even though I understand the Golden Age stuff is a little more oddball, I didn't really get that into this one. I would have rather seen maybe a Bucky and Toro team up. Maybe Marvel was trying to, put in some stuff that is not usually reprinted. Maybe that's what the thinking was there. But
yeah, not a ton of action, but it is a character piece.
Right. Another great character piece in Supergirl 42. Obviously we just wrapped up Who is Superwoman.
And it's basically the aftermath of that.
Right, where we're getting ready to move into another big super storyline. So people might say, well, this is probably just a filler as we wrap up one storyline into another. But what Sterling Gates does here is just makes it a great character piece for Kara as you find out kind of about her motivations. She has to talk to Lois about what happened to Superwoman. That's some conflict there. Just, Supergirl trying to determine who she is and what she's doing. The character, for years since she's been brought back, has had kind of what is her personality, and nobody's really grabbed a hold of it until I think recent issues here we see Sterling Gates really getting a hold of who Supergirl is. While the previous arc was called Who is Superwoman, in this issue you find out a little bit who is Supergirl. She starts, telling you kind of what, who she's about and what she's about. And I look forward to seeing that develop. I know we've got to have the action and the superhero fights, but this is a great character issue, so...
Sweet. You know what I love about this comic? Advertisement. Got Milk, Wolverine, a Marvel advertisement,
and a DC comic.
Love
That's
it.
true. All right, then we're going to wrap it up with
XMen Origins.
Gambit.
How long has it been since there's been a Gambit series? Over 10 years?
Well, it's not been quite that long, I don't think, because I think in the early 2000s he had his own series.
Oh, right.
The Steve Scroce one, but he hasn't had it ongoing in a while, and it does seem like he's the kind of character that could support one given his background, the right circumstances. Yeah.
I really like this comic. I'm a longtime Gambit fan. He might be my favorite superhero. So, knowing that, I feel like there's some things in here that are untold if you didn't know. Mm-hmm. I feel like an origin story should tell you, a lot about the character and a lot about their origin. For instance, like Storm is here at the end, but they don't say that, so maybe they're going to get into that.
Yeah.
This is the first kind of reenactment of the first comic that he was in the Uncanny X-Men.
Yeah, it ends right as his first appearance begins, essentially.
So maybe, I really liked the beginning. I thought they got into it really well. Maybe they'll kind of explain some of this stuff as it goes on. I liked it.
Yeah, let's. What I kind of thought about this one, which I think they're just doing a one shot on now. If it does well, there's always a possibility they could bring him into a new series. What I thought it did well is, I followed X-Men for a while, and then I kind of got off of it for a while in the maybe 90s, and I think they just kind of revealed these things piecemeal. A little bit here, a little bit here, a little bit there. And if you wanted to find out Gambit's origin, so to speak, you had to trace down what issues it was and then try to figure out where it all fit together.
Yeah.
This kind of puts it all in order. You've got his wedding, the Thieves and Assassins Guild thing. You've got the deal with the Marauders, which, when I heard about it back when it first happened, I wasn't reading the book at the time. I thought, well, that doesn't make any sense. But they kind of put it together where it makes some amount of sense.
It's almost kind of like a Romeo and Juliet story.
So I just thought it put the disparate pieces of the Gambit origin together pretty well. And if you've been like, what's his deal? You can kind of get it all caught up to you in this one comic.
Yeah.
So
sweet. That's my pick of the week.
All right. I'm going to say, even though I enjoy Captain America 600 a lot, I'm going to say Supergirl. They're both probably, I would say, maybe 9 out of 10 if I was grading them. But you have huge expectations for Captain America 600. I mean, whereas a story in between two storylines in a Supergirl title, probably not. So I'm just going to go with exceeded expectations a little more and give it the tiebreaker there. So
let's start real quick. Do you think they could do a Gambit movie? Does he have enough to have his own movie?
Oh, I think so. I mean, Taylor Kitsch played him in the Wolverine movie, and I think he was kind of. They're already doing a Deadpool movie now based on what they did with that character. I think if that does well,
Ryan Reynolds,
there's a good chance you could see a Gambit movie down the road. So
cool.
All right, cool. For Kyle Roberts, I'm Matt Price. Thanks for watching.